Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. And this is Best Filipino Trainer's first interview, or more of a Q&A. This is one of our coaches here, Romeo Estrada, also known as Coach Rome. He coached with us at Crank, and he's a professional natural bodybuilder. And I know a lot of you guys out there have a lot of questions have to do with bodybuilding. I've bodybuilt back in the day, and we give you those tips, but it's good to get a nice fresh look into maybe the new sciences or new approaches, and if there are anything newer than the old style bodybuilders. So this is Coach Rome. Coach Rome, say hello to everybody.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so basically what I want to know is what are the biggest key points? What are the biggest takeaways you could give to someone that just wants just help? Like they know they want to put on muscle, but then there's more to that than just lifting, you know? So what do you recommend to someone is the number one option?
Well, when it comes to training, you want to make sure you follow a good program, training program. Along with that is nutrition as well.
So nutrition you think is the biggest key, right? Mm-hmm. So what would you say like with that?
Well, in terms of like body composition, bodybuilding, nutrition is the biggest point. You got to make sure you're getting enough protein into your diet, along with the other macronutrients, along with carbohydrates and fat. You want to make sure you're not getting too much fat. You want to make sure you're not getting too much carbs. So it's pretty much a lot of that, and it all goes into your calorie intake.
Okay. Do you think that other people, everyone has a different calorie intake or different macronutrient intake?
Yes, I believe everyone has like different bodies depending on their lifestyle.
Right. Depends on what they have to do.
Yeah, what they do on a daily and everything.
Right, so if someone's pretty serious about changing their diet plan, would they suggest seeing a specialist or someone that knows what they're talking about to get their actual counts down?
Yes.
Did you do that?
I did too. And I've been like working out for years, but then I wanted to get into like that, I guess like the bodybuilding like conditioning. Right. So I even got help as well. So coaches need coaches.
Right.
That's my.
At all point.
Yeah, I believe
absolutely.
That.
Yeah, especially with dieting and even just programming. We talked about programming too. Do you have a coach that programs your workouts, or you do it yourself?
I have a coach that programs it, but at the same time, I still add a little bit here and there because it's more of like I guess an auto regulation.
Right.
So depending on how I feel for the day.
Right.
If I want to add in an extra set, I'll add in here and there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I follow that base program.
Okay.
That they give.
All right. Cool. Do you do any online programming for yourself? Do you have like online clients?
Yes.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. That's good to know. So definitely, hit him up as well. We'll put his link and his email inside the caption boxes, so you can definitely catch Rome. And if you need any type of programming help or nutrition help as well, you can always reach out to us. So, speaking of that, you talk about higher protein and macronutrients. Here's the biggest question a lot of people ask: what do you think is the staple protein amount for someone? I know you said it differs, but no one's gonna, realistically, not a lot of people are gonna do it. So what do you think is a good protein amount?
You really need at least 1 gram per body weight for lean body mass.
What about someone is looking to, let's say, bulk up, or they would say they're bulking phase or want to get bigger? Do you still think it would be the same ratio or a little higher?
For protein, I would say at most between 1 to 1.2, but most of it will be coming from carbohydrates.
Right.
Because you need that energy to push more weight and stuff.
Right. So carbohydrate, if you guys don't know that carbohydrates is energy, that is what helps you through your workouts. It's not really protein. Protein is what breaks down, helps the muscles repair. Okay? That's what the biggest misconception was. I remember when I was younger was, I'm 13, is 2.2 to 3 grams per body weight. That's what they used to say to take. And now it's completely different. So looking about a little less than 1 for lean and a little over 1 for mass is pretty much what you're trying to say.
Well, if you're cutting, I would have you at a higher protein intake.
Higher protein intake,
yes,
right.
for more like thermogenesis effect and all that.
Okay.
But in terms of like building on muscle, at least the minimum is 1 gram.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 1 gram.
All right, so let's talk about calories. Calories, obviously, you guys know, is your energy, right? So it's how many you're taking in versus how many you're releasing throughout the day, depending on your lifestyle. Everyone is different. So explain a little bit about what we were talking about before with calories.
Okay, well, calories is pretty much, like you said, energy. So if you want to maintain weight, you have to find that maintenance level. So for example, if your body burns 2,500 calories a day, right, and you're taking in 2,500, you're probably going to stay at the same weight. Now, if you want to put on a size, you got to eat at a surplus, pretty much more calories per day. So at least I would start off slow, between 100 to like 200 to 300, or you can go aggressive.
Over maintenance.
Yeah, over maintenance.
Right,
or you can go aggressive and go 500, but you might gain more fat that way.
Right.
as opposed to muscle if you're doing it naturally.
Right.
If you're trying to lose weight, you got to be at a deficit. So if you're going 2,500, you want to go between 100 to 500 less than 2,500 calories
per day.
Yes.
Per day. Do you count week totals at all, or just daily totals?
I can do daily totals, but then the bigger picture, of course, is the week. As long as you're under that, then you will be losing, weight or fat.
Right. See, there's a lot more that has to do with nutrition than you think. Some people think it's just about, am I eating this or getting meals? And yeah, but sometimes the biggest problem is a lot of people aren't getting enough. And that's why you're not seeing a lot of gains, and maybe you're not losing weight because you're not exactly getting the amount that you're supposed to, because you're reading a magazine that's telling you that this skinny bitch is supposed to be fucking eating this much. This is way too clean for a little while. I just made it not clean. Like they give you a sample of a 120-pound woman or a 180-pound man. They never give you who for you. Most of you guys that are reading the magazines, you're probably like $150. Or maybe if you're a heavier point, you might be 250, and you're following a diet plan that's made for the generic 180-pounder or the 115-pound woman. Okay, so definitely got to know your numbers when it comes down to nutrition. That's one of the biggest keys I could say in anything, from mass building to bodybuilding to powerlifting to anything. It's really dialing in. Those guys powerlifters may look like they're pretty shitty, but they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're more scientific than us. Yeah,
definitely.
Actually. All right, let's talk about training. Talk about programming, right? What type of split do you do now? I know you have a coach. What do you have going on for you?
Well, currently, since I'm doing the powerlifting thing, I'm doing a small hybrid.
Okay.
But when I was bodybuilding or competing for shows, I was doing a leg push-pull power day and then a leg push-pull hypertrophy day. So pretty much more muscle frequency, training frequency.
Okay. So you'll be hitting those body parts more than one time a week, pretty much, right? Say, whereas the old school template, which probably you guys are doing, is the old chest, tricep, and really only meeting those one time a week, maybe not even getting it. So that works for him, that worked for other people. Now here's the biggest takeaway, I think, that we were talking about, and the biggest tip is?
Consistency, guys.
Right.
That's the biggest problem. A lot of people, they'll try a program, they'll see it in the magazine, they'll do it for like a couple weeks, and then they may get some results in the beginning, and then they hit a plateau, and then they feel discouraged and they stop. But to be honest, though, you have to keep going. You got to break through that plateau. You got to stay consistent with it. Same thing with your nutrition and the training.
Yeah, everything. It's really riding the wave. A lot of people ride the short waves, and it's like, hey, I rode a wave. It's good. Let's go on to the next surfboard. You got to ride that longboard for a long time and get good at it and really key into the program itself. So if he's doing his higher frequency, whereas you guys are maybe just doing a 5-3-1 split, it doesn't really matter what you do. You just got to stick with it for a long time. It's not a year. It's a long time. Unless you're taking gear and juicing yourself up, which you probably can't afford to anyway, you're not doing it, right? So you got to make sure you stay on that program for a long time and really see gradual changes. It's not about big changes. You're not going to see a couple inches in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? You're not going to see huge changes in your legs until maybe a year or two. It takes a little while for your body to adapt to such a, you could even say, high frequency program. You got to recover from that too. Making sure you're eating the right way and making sure you're working out the right way. Here's a big thing that I like that Rome was telling me about was the difference between strength, power, is they got to get from point A to point B as fast as they can with really heavy load. Okay, with bodybuilding, it's a little bit different. We call it the feel. You actually have to feel your muscles doing it, and that's what a lot of the isolations, and people can make fun of them, doing leg extension machines and hamstring machines. It's good. You do need those single joint exercises because it's going to isolate the muscle, and that's the feel that you need. And a good way to look at it is the way Romeo said it. Rome, tell me about what you said before.
Well, when it comes to the heavy compound lifts, you want to get them from point A to point B as fast as you can, so you do them dirty, right? When it comes to the isolation movements, you make love to them, nice and slow.
Very sensual.
Yeah.
Nice and slow. So pretty much compound movements, fuck them dirty.
Right.
And then the isolation movements, make love to them very nice, like your wife or husband. Take your time, ease it in. Make them some breakfast. Cut a rose out from the bush in the backyard. Put it on her plate. Light a candle. That's how you do isolation movements. Compound movements, what do? Get a hooker. Do her dirty. Don't get a hooker, guys. You don't want to do that shit. That's disgusting. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just going to keep going. Deadlifts, squats, bench press. Dirty. Tricep extensions. Subtle. Is that good? Sorry. I was trying to hold a straight face the entire time. I'm going to hold on to it. That's all right, bro. I just want to see how far I can go. I want to see how far I can go with that. Keep your ass up high. Plug it. All right, guys, so that's it. The basic key points are your nutrition. Really dial into that nutrition. You got to know your calorie intake. You got to know the macronutrient count inside your diets. Programming. Make sure you're in a program that's specific to your goals. If you're a power lifter, get into a good powerlifting program. If you're just looking for general strength, maybe you're an athlete. You need strength, so get into like a 5-3-1, something, a West Side method. That's also a powerlifting method. If you're a bodybuilder, get into that bodybuilding splits. Start doing something that's really specific to your goals and what your needs are. And finally, making sure you guys are consistent, okay? No program works unless you stay with it for a long time. So hope you guys enjoyed the interview. This is Romeo Estrada, natural professional bodybuilder. You'll see him again, and you'll see him throughout the channel. Guys, thanks for coming out. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below. And if you need more information, contact us and we'll hook you up with Rome as well as ourselves, and we'll see you guys later.